Hello, folks. I will demo one of Fleet's features that I'm really excited about. This is a feature that we added some time ago, and it will be useful for customers that want more control on whether to upgrade their endpoints or when to upgrade their endpoints. So this is the typical setup for your Fleet deployment where you have a Fleet server. Imagine this gray box is your workstation, servers, any device in your fleet. Um, we usually run a fleetd agent, what we call the fleetd agent. Every management software needs an agent, right? There's no way around that. So in our case, fleet agent is called fleetd. It contains four components, actually three components. So it's Orbit is just an executable that does all the communication with Fleet to basically manage everything, right? Orbit itself starts OS query, which is our main source of information for every device. And then the Fleet desktop is like a desktop app that we have, for example, here to show the user some information about their device. So these fleetd agents, again, all of these communicate with your Fleet server, right? Now there is a separate thing called TAF, what we call the TAF file server. TAF stands for the update framework. And this is because fleetd provides auto update mechanism, right? You don't need to worry about deploying whenever there is a new version of fleetd or the agent. You don't need to redeploy packages to your devices. Once the version is up on this TAF server, your devices will auto update. So as I was saying, like the goal here is to provide with the feature I'm going to show, the goal is to provide more control of these auto updates so that you can decide when to do the update, right? So that you have more control, because if a fleet pushes a new update, your fleetd by default will auto update, right? Every agent in your fleet will auto update. Perhaps you want more control over that. So the feature I'm gonna demo now allows that the user, the administrator, to have more control on when to auto update your devices. Everything from Fleet. You don't need to go to your devices and do anything. Everything should happen within Fleet. So I'm going to show that. The devices I have here, I have this is a testing server. I have three devices enrolled: Windows device, a Mac OS device, and Ubuntu device. And they are part of a team called Workstations Canary. It's usually a good idea to have a workstation, a Canary team that you can use to test upgrades before upgrading every endpoint in your fleet, right? We usually suggest using Canary teams for this purpose. And before continuing, we'll probably add this to the docs, but the feature I'm gonna demo right now is present on Orbit 120, fleetd 120, and Fleet server version 443. So you need those requirements to use this feature. So all that said, let's use the feature. So right now, if we query these devices, we're gonna do os query, Orbit info. This is sort of like a fleetd information for all devices. This is gonna show that I'm running the stable channels, like you just generate the packages, and as you can see, I'm running 124 of the of fleetd, but I'm actually pinned to the stable channel. So whenever Fleet updates the stable channel, your devices will auto update. But maybe you want more control over that. So we're gonna do that now. So I'm going to go to settings, teams. I will pick, I have a production team and a Canary team. Let's start with the Canary team. The Canary team, so I have agent options, and there is some, we can ignore this part, but basically there is a new update channels, new value here that you can set under the root of these agent settings. and you can set the following. So let's say that you want to stick to 123 for desktop, 123 for fleet D. So this is fleet D again. This is fleet D. This is in case you use fleet desktop. If you don't use fleet desktop, which is a tray icon on your devices, you don't need to set that. And then if you want to also control when to upgrade OS query, this is sometimes necessary because, for example, sometimes there's new features that you would like to use in OS query. For instance, recently OS query added the feature to provide the VS Code extensions on your devices. To use that, you have to use I think it's 5.11. So again, maybe you want to have control over this, and then you can upgrade yourself to use these new features on your devices. So I'm going to configure this. I will pin the versions. So basically what I'm doing here is pinning versions so they stick. So once you do this, let's just click save. Once you do this, when Fleet pushes a new update on the stable channel, the devices will not auto-update, all right? Because you are pinning these versions. So you decide when to upgrade, right? Now let's see if that worked. It might take a few seconds for this to catch up. So let's do a query again. Again, it might take a few seconds for your endpoints to actually change this. So what I did here is actually a downgrade, right? I downgraded from 124 on the stable channel to 123. But again, I pinned the version specifically. So I'll see if the hosts are actually using the correct version. Check. All right, the host might be still catching up. Yeah, so for example, I downgraded my Windows host, and for some reason it's taking a bit longer, but let's just give it a moment for the other endpoints to upgrade. Let's run again. All right, so this probably means that, okay, the host is actually restarting. That makes sense, so I'll run again. All right, we're now seeing 123 on the Ubuntu host and on the desktop host, on the Windows host. And now, all right, we should now see the three of them. So let me run again. Okay, the three of them are updated to use 123. Now, if we go to host, you don't actually need to query. I forgot we have a new feature that where you can see actually the. So let me just refetch the three hosts. I will refetch them, and you will be able to see this information from here. So again, you can see OS query 511, orbit 123, probably here too, 123, 511, and lastly, the desktop, I think. There we go. So everything looks good. We have now pinned the version. Again, if Fleet decides to upgrade the stable channel, your devices won't auto-update. But let's say that Fleet does release and you want to upgrade because there's a new feature, or there's a new OS query feature that you want to use. The way you would know about that is by looking at the changelog, or actually on the customer channels. We actually advertise that. But let's say you're interested on this Orbit 124 release, and you want to upgrade your devices to use that. Again, Fleet already released this, but you have more control now on when to upgrade. So this is, as you probably figure, pretty simple. It's just the same. Everything from Fleet, you don't need to configure devices or anything. You just go to the Team Canary, Agent Options, and you actually set 124. And let's say that we want to upgrade OS query to 5.12.1. I think it's the latest, if I recall correctly. Again, this usually means new features, and we can see here that yes, 5.12.1 is the latest feature, latest release of host query. So if we save, now again, the administrator decided to upgrade their endpoints at a good time, and they should auto update after this. Um, so let's see. It will take a few seconds. Let me see. And again, once while we wait, once you upgraded your Canary team, you can maybe smoke test and run some validations on your devices. And once you think this is a good state and you think that the release has no issues, you can then proceed to just update your production um, settings to use the same configuration. So you would go to Teams, the production team, agent options, and again, I would just copy paste the other one. So I would just copy paste this. If this configuration looks good to you, then you copy it to the production configuration. And that's it. Your devices will actually use those versions. I will pin to those versions. All right, that's about it. Thank you.